Before we begin, I want you to take a breath and set aside everything you think you know about women, pleasure, or intimacy, because what you're about to hear is not the usual advice, not the shallow tricks, and definitely not the quick fixes the internet throws at you. This is the truth most men were never taught. Truth that has the power to change not just the way you touch a woman, but the way she experiences you emotionally, mentally, and physically. If you've ever wondered why she holds back, why she doesn't fully let go, or why she reacts differently than you expect, it's not because something is wrong with her or with you. It's because no one ever showed you how the female body really works, how the female mind truly responds, or what actually allows a woman to trust you enough to surrender into pleasure without fear, tension, or hesitation. Stay with me, because in the next few moments, you're going to understand her in a way most men never will. You're going to learn what unlocks her body, what quiets her doubts, what awakens her desire, and what transforms the entire experience from something physical into something unforgettable. This isn't about being perfect. It's about being present. It's about becoming the kind of man whose touch she feels long after you've stopped touching her, the kind of man she thinks about when she's alone, the kind of man who makes her feel safe enough to explore the parts of herself she keeps hidden from the world. If you stay until the end of this video, you won't just walk away with knowledge, you'll walk away with the power to create deeper connection, more intense pleasure, and a bond she feels not just in her body, but in her heart. So settle in, listen closely, and let's begin. A truth that many men overlook when they try to bring a woman to deep release or intense pleasure: her body is not the problem, her capability is not the issue, and her anatomy is not lacking. What holds her back most of the time is not physical inability, but mental tension. A woman's mind is the gateway to her body, and when her thoughts are crowded with pressure, worry, or self-consciousness, her body cannot surrender. Many men believe that pleasure is purely physical, something you create with technique alone, but a woman's nervous system works differently. If her mind is not relaxed, her body will not open. If her thoughts feel unsafe, her muscles will tighten. If her emotions feel unseen, her body will resist instead of release. She may want to let go, she may want to experience more, but her brain is still scanning for emotional safety, approval, and connection. This is why stress, even if it's unrelated to intimacy, can completely shut down her ability to experience intensity. Overthinking pulls her away from sensation. Fear of judgment disrupts her breathing. Worry about how she looks, smells, or performs pulls her out of the moment. A woman cannot release when she feels watched instead of desired, evaluated instead of appreciated, pressured instead of invited. Her body listens to her emotions before it listens to your hands. Most women carry a lifetime of messages that taught them to be careful, composed, and controlled. Letting go feels unfamiliar. Losing control feels risky. Many women have never had a moment where they felt so safe, admired, and accepted that their body could respond freely without tension. When you understand that her pleasure begins in her mind, you stop trying to force an outcome with your hands, and instead you begin creating an internal environment where her nervous system finally exhales. It may start with how you touch her, the slowness of your hands, the warmth of your voice, and the steadiness of your breathing. It may start with eye contact that tells her she is wanted, not judged. It may start with giving her space to relax before you ever try to stimulate. But the truth is simple. Her mind must feel safe for her body to let go. When she senses that you are patient instead of demanding, attuned instead of distracted, present instead of mechanical, the mental walls that keep her tense begin to soften. When men understand this, something shifts dramatically. They stop blaming themselves or her body. They begin to see that creating emotional safety is not weakness. It's the most powerful form of masculine confidence. You guide her into sensation by calming her mental world, not by overpowering it. You help her release by helping her feel seen, not pressured. When her mind is at ease, her breathing deepens, her pelvic muscles soften, blood flow increases, and her sensitivity rises naturally. The experience becomes fuller, more intense, and more connected because nothing inside her is resisting. Understanding this keynote transforms the entire experience. It teaches you that Pleasure is not about mechanics, it's about presence. It's about recognizing that the female body responds to emotional truth, not performance. And when you create the mental peace she needs, you unlock a level of connection and responsiveness she may have never experienced before. Many couples misunderstand a woman's body has specific anatomical pathways for pleasure, and if a man doesn't understand them, he may stimulate the wrong areas too quickly, too intensely, or without the rhythm her body actually responds to. This isn't about being a bad partner. It's about never being taught how a woman's physiology truly works. Most people grow up receiving almost no real sexual education, especially when it comes to female arousal, which is far more complex and sensitive than many realize. A woman's sexual organs are connected to a network of nerves that require warm-up, gradual stimulation, and proper blood flow before they can respond with intensity. Without this preparation, her body simply cannot reach the level of arousal needed for deeper release, no matter how much she wants it. When a man understands this, everything changes. He stops rushing. He stops guessing. He starts paying attention to the physiological cues her body gives him. A woman's pleasure is heavily tied to circulation. Her body needs time to build blood flow, to swell, to warm up, and to become fully oxygenated. This can take longer than men expect. And when you skip this stage, the result is tension instead of pleasure. Many women don't release deeply, not because they can't, but because their bodies were never given the chance to warm up fully. When the tissues aren't engorged, when the nerves aren't activated, when she hasn't had time to relax physically, the most sensitive areas don't respond the way they are meant to. Understanding this means you start valuing slow buildup more than fast stimulation. You begin noticing her breathing, her hips, her subtle reactions, the micro movements that show her body is waking up. You realize that each woman has her own unique rhythm, pressure preference, and pattern of responsiveness. And learning these is far more important than following any generic technique. The truth is that a woman's anatomy contains layers of sensitivity. Some areas respond instantly, others require sustained touch, others require circular motion, others need a change in angle. When a man is educated about female anatomy, he stops focusing on achieving one specific result and instead pays attention to the journey of arousal. He knows that the external parts react differently from the internal ones. He knows that the pelvic floor needs to relax, not tighten. He knows that sensation builds from the outside inward, not the other way around. And most importantly, he realizes that her release is not something he creates, but something her body naturally gives when it feels stimulated in the right way, at the right pace, with the right understanding. Many women never experience their full range of pleasure simply because no one has ever taken the time to explore their anatomy with intention. When a man approaches her body with curiosity instead of ego, with attention instead of autopilot, her body feels safe to respond. She relaxes because she knows she's with someone who is attuned to her, not rushing through her. As she relaxes, her tissues soften, her breathing deepens, and her natural lubrication increases, which in turn amplifies sensitivity. The experience becomes cyclical, not linear. The more seen she feels, the more her body responds, and the more her body responds, the more confident and connected the moment becomes. This keynote isn't about mastering technique. It's about understanding biology. It's about respecting the fact that female arousal is a process, not a switch. When you learn her body, really learn it, you stop missing the signals she's been trying to give you, and you unlock a level of responsiveness that deepens trust, pleasure, and connection on a level neither of you will ever forget. Most people never talk about openly. Many women hold subtle physical tension in their pelvic floor, hips, abdomen, and lower back without even realizing it. And this tension dramatically affects their ability to experience deeper pleasure or strong release. What many assume is a psychological block is often a physical one, created through years of stress, posture habits, childbirth, hormonal shifts, or even simple daily holding patterns. The pelvic floor is a group of muscles that respond to stress the same way the shoulders or jaw do. They tighten, and when these muscles stay chronically contracted, they reduce blood flow, restrict nerve sensitivity, and limit the body's capacity to fully let go during intimacy. This is not a flaw in her body. It is a natural response to stress. lifestyle, and lived experiences. But it means that if her muscles cannot relax, her body cannot respond as intensely as her mind might want it to. For many women, intimacy becomes a moment where they subconsciously brace or tighten, especially if they feel pressure to perform or if they've had experiences where their needs were rushed or overlooked. Even if she trusts her partner, her muscles may still be carrying the memory of times she felt discomfort, self-consciousness, or emotional disconnect. Physical tension is not always caused by fear. It can also come from overthinking. When a woman worries about how she appears or whether she is doing enough, her pelvic floor tightens the way a hand clenches from stress. That tension sends signals through the nervous system that block deeper relaxation, and deeper relaxation is the foundation for deeper bodily response. Without it, her body stays in a mode of control, and pleasure cannot expand fully. Another factor is breathing. When a woman breathes shallowly, especially in her chest rather than her belly, her diaphragm stays tight. The diaphragm and the pelvic floor move together like a partnership. When one is tense, the other becomes tense as well. So if her breathing is short, rushed, or anxious, it directly limits her ability to relax the muscles needed for more intense physical responses. Slow, steady breathing is not only calming, it increases oxygen flow, reduces muscle clenching, and signals the body that it's safe to soften. Women who learn to breathe deeply often notice that their sensitivity increases because their muscles finally start releasing years of unconscious contraction. Posture and physical habits also contribute. Sitting for long periods, clenching the core, or carrying stress in the hips creates a pattern of muscular tightness that doesn't disappear just because someone becomes intimate. Her body responds from the state it lives in daily, not just the state she wants in the moment. This is why body awareness is so powerful. When a woman becomes aware of her pelvic floor, learns how to relax it, stretches her hips, breathes deeply, or practices gentle movements like yoga or mindfulness-based relaxation, her whole relationship with pleasure changes. Her body becomes more responsive not because she is trying harder, but because she is not fighting herself internally. When a partner understands this, the dynamic shifts. Instead of assuming she is not responding because she is uninterested or unable, he realizes her muscles need time, gentleness, and reassurance to relax. He becomes patient, slow, and attuned. He supports her breathing instead of rushing her reactions. He creates a space where tension dissolves rather than grows. And as her muscles gradually soften, blood flow increases, nerves awaken, and her body begins to respond with a depth and intensity that was simply inaccessible before. This keynote is about honoring her physiology, understanding that tension is the enemy of pleasure, and learning that softness, not pressure, is what unlocks her true potential for deeper connection and physical release. Many couples never fully understand women experience pleasure through a combination of rhythm, pacing, and consistency, and when a partner doesn't maintain these elements, her body cannot build the internal momentum needed for deep release. Female arousal is not driven by intensity alone, it is shaped by the continuity of stimulation. Unlike men, who can often respond to sudden shifts, women rely on patterns their bodies can trust. When the rhythm is steady, their nervous system relaxes. When the pressure is consistent, their pelvic floor responds. When the pace is predictable, their body builds toward a peak naturally. But when stimulation becomes erratic, too fast, too slow, or constantly changing, especially during the crucial buildup phase, her body keeps restarting rather than rising. It's like trying to climb a hill when the ground keeps shifting beneath her feet. She may feel arousal, but she cannot cross the threshold into deeper release because the consistency she needs is missing. This is why so many women report feeling almost there, but never quite reaching the point of complete surrender. It isn't because they are incapable. It isn't because they lack desire. It's because the stimulation kept interrupting the pattern their body was responding to. A woman's nervous system is deeply rhythmic. Her breathing syncs with her pleasure. Her pelvic muscles pulse with the pace of stimulation. Her mental focus mirrors the consistency she feels. When the pattern changes abruptly, her mind disconnects and her muscles tighten again. Every time the rhythm is broken, she has to rebuild that internal momentum from the beginning. A partner who understands this doesn't rush to escalate. He focuses on staying steady. He pays attention to the rhythm she responds to, even if it seems slow. He lets her body guide the pace through her breathing, her subtle sounds, her movements, her changing pressure cues. Many men believe that switching techniques or increasing intensity is the key to heightening pleasure, but for many women, stability is far more important than novelty in the moments leading to release. The body needs time to accumulate sensation, to collect it like rising energy. Consistent rhythm allows her nervous system to lock into the experience. Her muscles sync with it, her mind quiets because the pattern becomes predictable enough for her to stop thinking and start feeling. This predictability is not boring. It is the exact environment her body needs to build toward deeper and more powerful outcomes. Once a woman is close, even small interruptions, changing hands, shifting position, altering speed, can reset her progress. The difference between a woman who reaches her peak and one who hovers below it is often measured in seconds of uninterrupted rhythm. Another crucial aspect is that women need time without pressure. If she senses urgency or expectation, she becomes self-conscious, and self-consciousness disrupts rhythm internally. Her breathing becomes irregular, her muscles tense in anticipation of being evaluated rather than enjoyed. But when a partner stays calm and consistent, she feels safe enough to sink into her body instead of her thoughts. Her focus narrows to sensation, and her body begins to respond faster and more intensely because nothing is interfering with the buildup. This keynote matters because it teaches partners that female pleasure is not fragile, it's rhythmic. It's not complicated, it just requires presence and patience. When a partner prioritizes consistency over performance, he unlocks the natural way her body climbs, opens, and ultimately releases. Understanding this transforms the experience from effortful to effortless, from pressure to pleasurable, from guessing to attuning. And when rhythm becomes the language between you, her body learns to trust you with the most powerful and vulnerable parts of her pleasure. Men often underestimate emotional attunement. Many men try to focus on technique, pressure, or physical stimulation, but they overlook the deeper layer shaping a woman's ability to experience intense pleasure or any kind of deeper release. Emotional attunement means being connected to her internal state, not just her body. It means observing her responses, adjusting to her comfort, and communicating in ways that make her feel safe, seen, and valued in the moment. When a woman senses that you are emotionally present with her, rather than performing for an outcome, her entire nervous system opens. Pleasure stops being something she has to try to feel and becomes something she allows herself to experience. Emotional safety is not a romantic cliche, it is a physiological requirement. A woman's brain cannot fully activate the pathways tied to deep pleasure when she feels disconnected, misunderstood, or pressured. Her body simply will not surrender without emotional grounding. Many women carry unspoken anxieties into intimate moments. Fear of being judged, worry about their appearance, concern that they are taking too long, or past experiences where their needs were dismissed. These emotional residues shape how their body responds. A partner who is emotionally attuned recognizes these unspoken layers. He pays attention not just to what she says, but how she breathes, how she tenses, how she relaxes, the subtle shifts in her tone or expression. This awareness communicates something powerful. She is not alone. In the moment, her body isn't being touched in isolation. Her entire experience is being honored. Emotional attunement is what transforms intimacy from mechanical to meaningful. It is what turns her from a participant into someone who feels deeply connected and free enough to fully let go. Communication plays a crucial role in this. A partner who checks in gently, who asks what she likes without making her feel pressured to perform, creates a sense of shared space. He doesn't assume, he doesn't rush, he doesn't dictate the pace. Instead, he invites her into the moment with him. A simple affirmation, "I'm here, you're doing great, take your time," can calm her entire body. These words quiet her inner critic, dissolve her self-consciousness, and help her stay present, rather than worrying about expectations. Emotional attunement is not about talking constantly, it's about the tone, timing, and intention behind the communication. When she feels emotionally held, her muscles soften, her mind clears and her body becomes far more responsive. Another part of attunement is understanding that her emotional state before intimacy matters as much as what happens during it. If she's overwhelmed, stressed, or feeling disconnected from you outside the bedroom, her body will carry that tension forward. Emotional foreplay, small gestures of affection, meaningful conversation, acts of attentiveness builds trust and connection long before physical touch begins. When she feels valued as a person, not just desired as a partner, her nervous system naturally becomes more receptive. She feels secure, and security amplifies physical pleasure. Emotional attunement teaches men that being a good partner is not about control, but about connection. It is not about mastering techniques, but mastering presence. When she senses that you care about her experience as much as your own, she stops holding back. Her body stops guarding. Her pleasure becomes deeper, more natural, and more effortless because she is not fighting against emotional barriers. She is letting go into trust, and trust is the foundation on which her most powerful experiences are built. Everything we've explored comes back to one unshakable truth. A woman's deepest pleasure is not unlocked through pressure, performance, or assumptions, but through presence, patience, and understanding. When you recognize the role of her mind, respect the sensitivity of her anatomy, help her release physical tension, provide steady rhythm, and stay emotionally attuned, you aren't just improving technique. You are creating an environment where her body feels safe enough to open fully. This is what separates an ordinary experience from one that transforms her connection to you. This is what makes her trust you with the most vulnerable parts of herself. This is what leads her to feel seen, cherished, and understood in ways she may have never experienced. When these 5 elements work together, her body responds not because you pushed it, but because you supported it, honored it, and listened to it. This knowledge is not meant to overwhelm you. It is meant to empower you. You now understand that her pleasure is a journey, not a task. It is something created together, not something demanded. And when you approach her with this level of awareness, your connection deepens in every part of your relationship, not just intimacy. You become a partner she feels safe with, a lover she trusts, and a man she responds to naturally because she feels emotionally and physically understood. Every woman deserves this kind of care. Every relationship thrives on this kind of attentiveness. And every man who learns these principles becomes not just a better lover, but a better partner, communicator, and listener. Thank you for giving your time, your curiosity, and your willingness to learn. Not everyone takes the step of educating themselves, and it speaks to your character that you're here, seeking growth and deeper connection. I wish you the best as you apply this knowledge with integrity, sensitivity, and confidence. May your relationships become more fulfilling, your communication more open, and your connection more powerful than ever. Good luck, and thank you for watching.